This is how Ukraine looked during the first days of the war. Shelling of peaceful cities, panic and fear among the civilians. People massively evacuated from the cities which the Russian army entered.
Bad people came and ruined our lives. Now I have to abandon my whole family. I'm running away with the baby. I don't know where I'm running to, but I'm running with my child because I want my child to survive.
The first so-called quick phase of the war, which Russia planned to complete in 3 days, the capture of Kiev, failed. Then the whole world became convinced that Ukraine should win this struggle.
We are now providing to the world that we don't just believe, we know how to fight for that belief, and that is the most important thing, and this is the result of this struggle. I believe we will win. 6 months, it's sad, the bleeding and all that, but we're holding on, and that's great.
During these 6 months there were attempts to sit down at the negotiating table, but Ukraine refused to conclude a peace agreement on the conditions of Moscow, which meant refusing to allow foreign bases on its territory and neutral status. And after the mass killing of civilians with missile strikes, there was no return to the diplomatic route anymore.
I don't see much fear. I see actually a great adaptation to the war, and Ukrainians, more than 70% of Ukrainians, are involved in helping the armed forces on the front lines with humanitarian aid, weapons delivery, from protective gear to communication devices to medical kits. Thus, the whole country remains very mobilized.
To liberate the occupied territories and return to the borders of 1991. This is the goal that President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky has now set for the military.
The blue-yellow flag will fly again where it should be by right, in all temporarily occupied cities and villages of Ukraine.
A return to the negotiation process is now impossible, the office of the President of Ukraine stated. There are too many facts of war crimes, literally on live streams, demonstrated by Russian troops. Ukraine also has a condition under which diplomatic negotiations would become possible. This is a complete withdrawal of Russian troops from the occupied territories.
It is extremely important for Russia to gain a foothold in the newly captured territories. It is not possible for Ukraine to conduct negotiations under such conditions. If negotiations are held today, Russia will want to unite the occupied territories of Kherson, Zaporizhia, Donetsk and Luhansk regions, which means that Russia's appetites will increase, and after some time we will have a continuation of the war. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the office of the President of Ukraine, in an interview with El País.
Consequently, victory is only possible at the front, military experts say. Numerous strikes on enemy ammunition depots, logistics centers and control points have already changed the situation in favor of Ukraine. Additional supplies of modern weapons from partner countries will only improve this situation.
And if these supplies are large and rapid, we can count on a fundamental change this year, and to conduct counter-offensive operations in at least operational directions, such as the Kherson direction or others.
Military expert believes that one of the ways to defeat Russia is a military scenario, but this scenario could drag on until the spring of 2023. There is also a military diplomatic way. It is the negotiation process after certain military success of Ukraine.
If there are significant changes that can force the Russian Federation to make concessions, that is the fundamental beginning of this kind of negotiation. The cessation of hostilities is that they withdraw troops to a position on February 23, 2022. And then negotiations will continue on Crimea and the occupied part of Donbass for that time.
The Ukrainian victory over Russia remains only a matter of time, even in the current situation. And afterwards, the aggressor state will have to answer for all the war crimes committed in Ukraine in the International Court in The Hague. Reported by Roman Smoler, Natalia Husak, UATV News.